In this series of video installing hardware and display components, we'll look at solid-state drives or SSDs, which are the successor to traditional magnetic hard drives, which were the standard type of storage in virtually every computer going back around the 10 or 15 years. The traditional hard disk drive and a solid-state drive perform the same function. What means they act as the primary storage mechanism for all your data, your operating system, your applications and your configuration. But the hard disk drive uses a spinning platter to store data and a solid-state drive has no moving parts. It uses a non-volatile flash memory for storage. Non-volatile means that it does not require power to retain its data. That means that your data will remain intact without power, hence your data can be stored permanently. Since there are no moving parts, solid-state drives offer a much faster access time because the data does not have to be located on a spinning disk. It's just a collection of chips, so each piece of data that is written has an address and the system just must access that address to retrieve the data. They also produce less noise and they're usually physically smaller, so they take up less space in the device. The downside is they are more expensive than the traditional hard disk drive. But the performance of the solid-state drive outweighs the difference in cost, so that's a less of an issue these days. But that said, it would also depend on how many drives you need to purchase and how they're going to be used. For example, in any single computer it would almost always be worth it to go with a solid-state drive, but for a large network storage array that houses possibly hundreds of drives, that sort of application would certainly cost a lot more, and in some cases, it might not be worth the extra cost. If you create a large archive where data needs to be retained but it isn't accessed very often, then the performance maybe not outweighs the cost. The upgrade from a traditional hard disk drive to a solid-state drive isn't difficult. You remove the old disk drive and physically install the new solid-state drive. Make sure to connect all the power and data cables. Then just reinstall the operating system. Make sure that whichever device you upgrade, it will support the solid-state drive. Sometimes they use different connectors, or in the case of a laptop, have a different type of physical bay to store the drive. This is a general description of what needs to be done. There are more considerations to consider when it comes to performing a clean installation of your OS. You need to make sure that you can set up the operating system using the original source files of that operating system, and you need to make sure that they don't reside only on the drive that is being removed. So, if something goes wrong, they are not lost. That was it for this video. Thank you for watching. Until next time at ICT University.